All right, let's get started. So let's just settle into our meditation posture. And if you are sitting at a desk, just remember to have your feet in a parallel position. Try not to have the ankles crossed or your legs crossed. But if you're sitting in the regular meditation posture, and good evening, Manuel, you could prop your knees up with a couple of cushions and make sure you're sitting on something firm and slightly raised. This helps the spine. It also helps to make sure your pelvic bowl is in the correct position. Hands are in the Meditation Mudra, the thumbs touching, and let's just, you can imagine your shoulders are over your hips and your spine is a string of pearls of light, and there's someone who's very gently lengthening your spine, putting some air in between those vertebrae. Just imagine the crown of your head is just reaching towards the ceiling. And your head is slightly tipped forward. The eyes are down, looking along the length of your nose. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And relax the jaw. And let's just bring our awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes and the nose and the cheeks and the area around the mouth. And just bring your awareness to the back of the head, to your scalp, at that area. And also the occipital bone at the base of the skull. And just imagine that whole area just relaxing. And as you do that, you might notice your jaw relaxing a little bit further, and your temples, and your ears. And release any tension in your neck and shoulders. And just relax your shoulder blades. Just allow them to drop down. And try and bring some awareness to that area in between the upper thoracic. It's a very difficult area to kind of feel, and it's also the area where where our posture starts to go. As we get older, we often get more kyphotic, so a little bit rounded in the upper back. And my chiropractor tells me that's not very good for the brain or the memory. So if while we're still mobile enough, it's good to kind of think about keeping that area from falling forward. Because our head is so heavy, it's about 10 pounds, 13 pounds maybe, I'm not exactly sure. But it's very, very heavy. So if it's out of alignment, it's going to pull everything else out of alignment. And why is this important for meditation? Because we want everything in alignment. We want the energy channels to be flowing nicely. So relax the throat and the chest and the belly and your limbs, hands, fingers, and your feet and your toes, and bring the mind to the breath. And notice the sensation of the air as you're breathing in. It's slightly warmer as you're breathing out. And if there are any sounds in your external environment, try not to let them distract you. Try not to have the mind immediately wander off to see what's happening. Somebody walking around the house, the dog, the cat, whatever's going on, just allow it to be there for the time being. And then just notice your thoughts as they arise, abide and fall. And try not to engage too much, or at all. So bring to your mind all the people of your life. And these are the ones we love very dearly, who are our friends, who support us. We try and support them. They lend us our strength when we need it. There's our enemies. These are, I mean, it feels quite a strong word to me, but it's how it's labelled in the texts. But these are the people, it can range from slightly irritating you, to the people that you avoid, to the people who have really harmed you. And then there's those ones who we're pretty indifferent to. It's always good to remind ourselves, even if we have to do this 10 times a day, to try and really not take for granted those relationships that are so precious to us. Because at any moment, at any time, the friend, the enemy, and the stranger can change places. So I think that all these people deserve our equal concern, and they are equal and the same as us in their wish to be happy and their wish to avoid suffering, and this unbelievable capacity for the enlightened mind. It's kind of mind-blowing, really. So just to remember, there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process we're engaging in this evening is a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind so we can change that, create positive energy with it instead. And we're doing that with this practice, Vajrasattva, in the context of the 4 opponent powers. And the first of these is the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all your past lives. And think of a specific action of your body and your speech. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others ourselves, we ourselves will experience suffering in the future. And we don't want that. We understand from our present suffering that we probably wouldn't want to invite any more into our life. So logically we want to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I am sick of suffering. So also try and regret our delusions, our anger and our attachment and all our bits and pieces, our jealousy and our bitterness, that are the cause of why we harm others. Again, think, I'm sick of this suffering. Then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need Buddha to forgive us. We purify ourselves by relying upon his methods. We want to heal ourselves by relying upon these methods. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and perhaps imagine this is your teacher, your Lama, your Guru, manifesting in this form, or this is the mind of that person, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this brilliant, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus. And I love this analogy. Although born out of mud, is untainted by mud, just like your enlightened potential. Born out of delusions, but yet untainted by them. He has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for us. He has no critical thoughts towards you whatsoever. He accepts you exactly where you are and meets you where you're at. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So just this little section on compassion. In order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings and the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us by developing compassion for them. So try and bring to mind someone you have harmed and just try and bring a sense of compassion, like a compassionate attitude towards them, a wish for them to not suffer. And then think of the people who have harmed you, and because of the harm that they've done to you and the suffering they've caused you, they will definitely be experiencing suffering in the future. So rather than a mind of, oh well, good, they deserve it, it's much, much better for us if we can bring to mind a sense of compassion so that they don't suffer. I wish for them to not suffer. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, the doing of the practice of purification. And so we're going to engage in recitation of the mantra and also visualization. So we first of all purify the body. And Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, kind of like coming out of a hose, very forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitram Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. So next we come to the purification of the speech. And again, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine as it's flowing out of the top of your body, it is coming out quite forcefully. So you can imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and the lying and talking about others behind their backs is all purified by this powerful nectar filling you and then forcing all this negativity out into space where it disappears as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine that it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And the next is the purification of the mind. And imagine Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately now sending powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. And you can just imagine, as the analogy goes, you walk into a room, into a dark room, and you switch on a light, that light instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Guru Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind is instantly purified, all disappears. So all the anger and depression and anxiety and attachment and kind of like violent energy wishing to harm and resentments and jealousy and bitterness and grudges, all of this instantly purified by this light as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum ha ho bhagawan Tawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe. So again, be so delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. They're gone. And think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. And this time imagine Guru Vajrasattva sending out light and nectar. So as I've been suggesting, if you wish, you can do a couple of mantras each for the visualization of the body and of the speech and of the mind. Or you can imagine just light and nectar pouring into you as you recite the mantra. And imagining that as the light and nectar pours into you and fills you completely, it eradicates the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom Sattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum ha ho bhagawan Sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatiya. Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa. Anarakta mebawa savasiti mempiyata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tathagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita. Dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa. Anarakta mebawa savasiti mempiyata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tathagata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva ahom pe. So now feel completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next is a power of resolve, and this is the final step and really the most crucial step. So this is the decision that we make. We're going to refrain from harming. And we may not be able to refrain from harming ever again, so we start out simply, I will refrain from such and such a habit for 5 seconds or 1 minute or 8 hours while I'm asleep. But without this determination, without this decision that we make, we're just going to keep doing the same old things. So this determination, this aspiration to not harm again, is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind. So we just, again, rejoice in your own progress and the efforts that you've been making. I'm really serious about this. It's so important to remind yourself of where you've come from. Actually, when I was trekking once with Lama Rinpoche's sister, she said to me, it's always a good idea to look back down the mountain that you've come up from, because she said, then you don't feel so tired. You think, wow, look what I did. I just achieved that. So it's kind of the same here. So, to conclude, Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with, he melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE used to call this union oneness. So next, Lama Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma, there is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a moment. We can think of all phenomena as being empty, not existing from their own side. We can think of things as being dependent arisings. We can think about cause and effect. And we can also think the way things appear to me may not be necessarily the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, the positive energy you've created by doing this purification to all living beings, thinking, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. From Lama Rinpoche's His Holiness the Dalai Lama's long life prayer, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving and spreading Manjanath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers, honouring the 3 jewels, savour of myself and others your disciples, please live long. And for Lama Ursul, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. For Geshe Cherub, beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Thank you, everyone. Lots of love. Good luck with your second day at your new job. Lorraine, wishing you all the best. Thank you very much, Mary, for hosting. Thank you, Shayla and Elizabeth and Barbara and Manuel and Nina. Thank you. And Kim, nice to see you. And Leah. Okay, everyone. Lots of love.